The News 4 Rundown starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the News 4 Rundown. I'm Sean Yancey. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, and here's a look at some of the stories we're following for you tonight. Coming up, a local teenage golfer is preparing for the biggest match of her young career, the major life event she will miss to show off her skills on the national stage. Plus, when school's out for the summer, many students who rely on their schools for food lose their access to free meals. One local school district is making sure none of its students go hungry, the program that provides regular healthy lunches all summer long. But first tonight, a story that began with a complaint to the News 4 I-Team. In 2016, a development company bought a sprawling and well-known apartment building in Northeast D.C. And with millions of dollars in taxpayer-backed financing deals, Standard Communities promised to make housing more affordable for Washingtonians. But nearly a decade later, investigative reporter Ted Oberg and the News 4 I-Team found complaints of serious housing violations at Fort Chaplin Park Apartments and questions about promises that many residents say have not been kept.
Standing in her still wet, fetid, and dark apartment, Jasmine Battle showed us how the laundry room near her basement apartment unit at Fort Chaplin Park Apartments flooded her home in February.
The water damaged my kids. The furniture, the mold got into the clothes. We couldn't take nothing.
She told us she's too embarrassed of what's become of her home to show her face. They didn't move you out right away?
No, they did not.
Did you ask to be moved out?
Yes, I did.
And what did they say?
They kept on saying they was going to put tickets in, they was going to come have somebody come out and fix it.
When the I-Team visited Fort Chaplin Park Apartments in April, 2 months after the flood, the fixes to her unit still hadn't been made. You could still see the mud coming up through the subfloor. We found dead rodents, and someone's cat was living here, too. Oh, and the smell of mold, just take our word for it. At the time of our visit, Jasmine was living in a temporary unit she moved into in March, but still comes back to this one for clothes. She says her temporary place doesn't even have smoke detectors or working hot water.
How do you take a shower?
I got to keep boiling water.
Come on.
It's not what tenants hoped for 10 years ago when Standard Communities bought and redeveloped this historic 549-unit property in Ward 7. The $94 million deal was financed with $61 million in tax-exempt debt backed by D.C., another $30.2 million in low-income housing tax credits. It means 97% of this deal was subsidized by taxpayers like you.
We are investing in preserving affordable housing.
At the time, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser hailed renovations here as the largest tax-exempt affordable deal in D.C. history. It may be affordable, but dozens of residents here tell us their units are no longer livable. The problems found in Jasmine's unit are just some of the hundreds D.C. building inspectors found at Fort Chaplin. The district's database shows the Fort Chaplin Park Apartments have roughly 650 open violations for everything from failure to install carbon monoxide and smoke detectors to unsafe electrical equipment, rodents, and even more. It is on average more than one violation per unit here, with Standard racking up more than $600,000 in unpaid fines. The problems in Jasmine's apartment were so bad the D.C. Housing Authority inspected it in March and found water-damaged floors, rodent infestations, and still standing water in the nearby laundry room. The unit failed inspection.
It was the most beautiful property in Northeast. Everybody wanted to be in Fort Chaplin.
ANC Commissioner and resident Kimmery Arendoff says the Fort Chaplin he grew up nearby was famous for its meticulous upkeep. But now,
This has been open since January.
this was one of several unsecured units we saw, and
Oh, watch your step.
Marie Ellis, she's been here more than 20 years, and says the problems have mounted under the Franklin Group, which manages the property for Standard.
We had an incident where half of my apartment lost electric and I had to run extension cords in order to run my CPAP machine.
So the electric,
That went out.
you get it fixed?
That took, I think, 2-3 weeks.
But how long's your stove been out?
About a week now.
Neighbors like Michael Lewis told us he just now fixes what he can himself. Well, why can't you just call the maintenance?
They're not going to come.
How do you know?
I know. Everybody know. They don't come.
Those sound like terrible conditions.
Keith Parsons oversees enforcement at D.C.'s Department of Buildings and says while the database shows serious outstanding violations, Standard has fixed hundreds more, and they're no longer publicly listed. Are you satisfied and okay, let the process go and we'll check back in later?
Well, I'm not satisfied. I won't be satisfied until they're all fixed.
In the meantime, his team has stepped up inspections of the property, and he left open the possibility of legal action, as the I-Team found some of these violations go back several years.
We've already talked to the Attorney General
about this property.
Yes.
The Attorney General's office declined to comment, and no one from Standard Communities would sit down with us for an interview, but a PR rep sent us a statement saying they share their residents' frustration, adding the property has not been managed to the standards we require, and we've taken direct action to address it. Standard tells us they're replacing the property management company this month and said they're working with the Department of Buildings to systematically clear outstanding violations. That property manager, Franklin Group, told the I-Team they take the concerns raised by our residents seriously, and we welcome direct communication from any residents with unresolved concerns. Jasmine says the toll of her damaged home has made her and her children sick from the mold and the stress. And the rules on her housing voucher mean she can't just move out.
This is crazy. Like, I never even knew that we would let somebody live.
It's tough to see, really tough to see. The story began with a call from some residents who said they couldn't get straight answers on easy things like how much their rental account balances was, to whether they'd be able to actually use the beautiful pool the company advertises on its rental website. It had been closed in recent years, but just today, a spokesperson tells us it is open for the summer. Standard, by the way, has these affordable housing projects across the United States. And we asked them if they'd be willing to discuss the issues at Fort Chaplin or some of the issues nationwide managing affordable housing, but they said no to every request. In that prepared statement, though, Sean, they said they are committed to fixing the problems and they're in it for the long haul.
Just watching that, I felt for her. Nobody should have to live like that. And it seems unfathomable that the management company or whomever hasn't fixed all of these challenges that go back years. And then where's the city to hold them accountable for this?
I think a couple things, right? The maintenance staff, it's apparently tough to keep, to get and keep good maintenance staff at apartment complexes like this, that's for sure. I think the other thing is, look, there are plenty of government agencies, whether it's the city protecting the millions of dollars in investments that they made through some of the incentives that they gave this complex, or the housing authority that is allowing their residents who have vouchers to live there in these conditions. There are an awful lot of people who should be watching out to make sure it doesn't look like this and that our neighbors don't have to live this way.
Absolutely. I keep going at them, hold
well,
them accountable.
Hope,
I mean,
right?
like, just to see anyone having to live like that's not good. It's not good at all. My heart goes out to them. Thanks, you for your reporting. I appreciate it. All right, we have an update now on one of President Trump's construction projects in the district. Today, in a post on social media, he wrote the water in the reflecting pool between the Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument would be turned on shortly. As you can see, crews painted the basin what he called American flag blue, but so far, no water is flowing. News 4's Joseph Olmo is live near the reflecting pool with an update on the project tonight. Joseph, I can see behind you that crews are still working there and there is no water yet.
Sean, I'm no construction manager, so I don't pretend to know the difficulties of what's going on back there, but I'll say it doesn't look like the reflecting pool is going to be refilled with water today because there's still a bunch of trucks out there and construction equipment and people. Of course, this has been one of the more talked about projects in Washington, D.C. in recent months. It was back in April when we noticed the reflecting pool closed off and crews started to paint it with this blue coating. As you said, it's being called American blue. But look at what happened today. American flag blue, I should say. Look at what happened today. We saw President Trump's Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, out here in person, sort of an unannounced visit, touring the work. And the timing here, of course, is questionable because just a couple hours prior to his visit, President Trump sent out on his social media platform, Truth Social, this. Take a look at it with me. I'll read it for you. Excitingly, the final coat of protection will be completed on the reflecting pool that sits between the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial at 4 p.m. today. The water will start flowing shortly thereafter. We did get an update from the Department of Justice, which says that water will be flowing around this Sunday. So we haven't seen any movement out here like you just saw a moment ago. There's still quite a bit of construction crews out here. In the meantime, this is still getting a lot of attention. There's a lot of people still taking out their phones, snapping pictures of the work that's happening, and we decided to catch up with a few people to get their take on what they think of the reflecting pool and all the changes coming. And as you can imagine, there were people who liked it and there are people who didn't like it that much. Take a listen.
It's a waste of money. There's so many other problems in the city, but fixing the aesthetics of the city, like, you know, polishing the outside doesn't fix the real issues that we have.
Just a respect for our country. I mean, these are our prized possessions that represent who we are as a people, and why not absolutely invest and showcase it for all of U.S. citizens and our visitors and partners. I think it's fantastic.
You think it's going to look better than before?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Give me the gray. Give me the old gray.
You think it looked fine before?
Yeah. Unnecessary.
So, of course, what you're seeing behind me is just the latest installment of the changes that President Trump has brought to Washington, D.C. Fountains have been restored. Of course, there's been a lot of change happening at the White House between the ballroom, the UFC fighting there. We know that President Trump, shortly after taking office for his second time, said he wanted to make D.C. safe and beautiful again. Those were his words. So one of the main things that people were talking about when referring to the reflecting pool and it being painted blue was, is it going to be done by the 4th of July? Well, it appears that water will be flowing in the reflecting pool at some point. The president made it sound like it would happen today. It's not, but that doesn't mean that it won't be happening in the next couple of hours or in the next couple of days, Sean. We'll be watching for it. The one thing I think a lot of people want to know is it going to look any different than that gray bottom of the reflecting pool that we were used to for so many years before all of this?
Well,
I guess time will tell. Back to you.
Let us know when the water comes on, and we will all be able to take a look and make a decision for ourselves. Joseph Olmo, live on the National Mall. Thank you. There is much more ahead here on the News 4 Rundown, including some stormy weather coming our way.
And looking at your evening planner, another beautiful night across the area. Temperatures in the 70s until about 10 o'clock. After that, we fall into the 60s coming up after the break. I'm updating you on when the humidity builds in and the latest on the weekend rain chances in my full forecast.
Thousands of students in our area receive free meals every day at school. But what happens when the school year is over? Well, that's where summer meals programs help ensure students receive regular, healthy meals all summer. News 4's Darcy Spencer has the latest on how Prince George's County Public Schools is helping feed students during the summer months.
It's not just, get something to eat. It's to fuel your body so you can rise and shine.
At Bladensburg Elementary School, kids sit down to enjoy a nutritious lunch. But when the school year is over, some of these same kids may not get enough to eat. To make sure that doesn't happen, Prince George's County Public Schools is making sure families know there will be meals available at no charge.
Especially right now, understanding with the inflation of groceries and things of that nature, summer meals is something that our students can count on and parents can count on, knowing that same way they can count on those meals during the school year, they can count on those meals during the summer as well, too.
PGCPS is teaming up with the Washington Mystics and the American Dairy Association to make sure kids know they can get free breakfast and lunch over the summer. Christy Winter-Scott is the color analyst with the Mystics.
To have them be feeling safe enough and vulnerable enough socially to raise their hand and say, I need a meal. And I think that's why we're here, and we're here to let them know and inform them that we're here for them in every way.
They're emphasizing healthy bodies, healthy minds, and having the energy to stay positive and grow. Every child 18 and under who lives in Prince George's is eligible for the free meals.
Healthy meals are important to me because they help my bones and they help me get a bigger mindset and think clearer.
As many families are having a hard time making ends meet, the program is even more important to make sure kids don't go hungry. And new SNAP benefit work requirements could also impact families this summer. There are no income requirements. Angela Frazier is the school principal.
Is definitely a bonus and a plus. It's much needed so that they can stay nutritioned and ready to join us during the school year.
The meals will include milk, fresh fruit, and vegetables. No registration or paperwork is required. You just show up, get the meals, and go. 100,000 meals were provided in the county last summer.
The school system is still working out details in terms of the locations for the meal pickups and exactly when the program will start, but they say it'll be soon after school ends on June 18th. In Bladensburg, Darcy Spencer, News 4.
All right, so the last few days have been just absolutely amazing, but I know things are changing slightly.
Yeah, we're going to see our temperatures continue to warm, and by Friday and Saturday, well, the humidity is here.
Okay, it's back.
It is back, but it's not going to be terrible. We're not dealing with like July, August type humidity over the weekend. You're going to definitely notice it a little bit. Here's a look at your weather headlines for tomorrow. Hot, not too humid. High temperatures near 90 degrees. It's hot and a little bit humid on Friday. The weekend, well, it's feeling very much like summer, and the good news is the weekend forecast is now looking mainly dry. I'm going to be timing out the rain chances with future weather here in just a moment, but right now our temperatures in the upper 70s and low 80s, 81 in Washington, 79 in Gaithersburg and Frederick, 81 degrees over in Leesburg. Starting off this morning, 5 a.m., it was another cool start. Temperatures outside of the city and away from the water were in the upper 40s and low 50s, 45 in Luray, 49 in Gaithersburg, 47 in Frederick. Now tomorrow morning will be a little bit warmer. By 8 a.m. we're already near 70 degrees. By lunchtime we've warmed up tremendously with temperatures in the low 80s, and then we continue to warm with a high temperature of 88. Our average high tomorrow 82. So temperatures running about 5 degrees above normal with plenty of sunshine. It's a really, really nice day from start to finish tomorrow evening. Nice and mild. And then as we look to the weekend, we have high temperatures in the low to mid 90s on Saturday and Sunday, and a small rain chance, but the timing I think you're going to like. So here's future weather. This is Saturday at 6 o'clock. This is the European model, the model we kind of tend to go with. Notice how we're still dry across the D.C. metro area, some rain to our west and north. Now, as we head on into Saturday night, the later evening and overnight hours, here's future weather, 11 o'clock. Notice rain moving through the area, but then we head on into Sunday morning, stopping future weather here at 9 a.m. Notice how we're dry, and the D.C. metro area stays dry through most of the day. That stalled boundary might touch off an isolated shower or thunderstorm back around the mountains Sunday afternoon and evening, areas like the I-81 corridor, but it is looking like most of us now are dry during the day on Sunday. So that rain chance really looks to fall overnight Saturday, then just an isolated shower or thunderstorm chance on your Sunday. 94 for a high on Saturday, 90 on Sunday. Then we're back into the low 80s with low humidity next Monday and Tuesday.
Well, you know, there aren't too many events you would attend and miss your high school graduation, but an opportunity to play in the U.S. Open would definitely be one of those events. That's the case for a Montgomery County teenager. Our JP Finley caught up with the budding golf star as she prepared to tee off in the biggest tournament of her young career.
I'm so excited to talk to Zoe Cusack, 17 years old and in the U.S. Open out at beautiful Riviera, Los Angeles, California. Zoe, you're an incredibly accomplished golfer. 2 Maryland Junior Amateurs, you're part of the Junior Ryder Cup. You got to win that trophy. But what does it mean for you to play in the U.S. Open?
Yeah, it's super special. It means a lot. I would never have thought I'd be here at 17, let alone ever. So to make that dream a reality is super cool. Just watching the pros, see how they prepare for the week ahead, how they learn the course, practice, go through their routines is super cool and a really great learning opportunity.
What are you trying to learn this week?
Really anything I can. I mean, these are the best in golf. So really anything that they do is something I can take and apply to my own game and to how I approach tournaments outside of this one.
So you're a graduate from Churchill, right?
Yes.
But did you miss graduation because you're out in LA practicing for the US Open?
Yeah. So I qualified for the US Open end of April. And I was like on the flight home and I was like, wait, when's graduation? And it was June 1st. And we left for this Saturday before 1st. So I missed it, but whatever. I'd rather be here.
You'd rather be there. You're set to play at UVA in the fall, right? What is your schedule like? Do you get Beach Week? Do you get any normal high school senior stuff?
Hopefully I'll be late to Beach Week because that would mean I made the cut. So I'll go here to Beach Week, and then I'm going to Scotland for the British Am towards the end of June. Then I'll go US Girls in mid-July. Then hopefully I'll play the US Am beginning of, and then move into Charlottesville.
That's so great. Zoe, we're rooting for you back home, and I can't wait to cheer for you this weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we're weeks away from marking America's 250th anniversary, and our Tommy McFly is helping you find some new ways to discover our nation's capital with his series Beyond the Marble. Today, he's taking us inside the Washington Monument to find out why the base the base is one color and the top is another.
The Washington Monument, I'm sure you're familiar with it. You might even know that it changes color. The stone changes about 150 feet up, but do you know why? To figure that out, to see it up close, we should probably go inside. Mike, how's it going?
Tommy, good to see you.
I hear we're going somewhere today that people don't really ever get to go.
It hasn't been open to the public for some 50 years now.
We're gonna go down.
We're gonna take the elevator up.
Got it.
And then the stairs down.
Thank you, that's what I was hoping for. Let's do it. So no one is allowed here.
The stairs have been closed to the public since 1976. This is the area most people don't get to see. For the most part, it's back of house. It's stairs, it's mechanic rooms, but there are 193 of these commemorative stones that were donated, most of them in the 19th century. This one, for example, is from Arizona.
That's petrified wood?
It is 3 sections of petrified wood.
Way to go, Arizona.
Come from Petrified Forest National Park. And yes, Arizona, as the kids say, got the assignment.
That's right. I feel like the walls are closing in a little bit.
This is where that thickness of the walls changes. What we just left, probably 18, 24 inches thick, all of a sudden, the walls from here on down are going to be much thicker, and that's why you see the walls almost literally closing at this point.
18 inches thick.
18 inches thick at the top, 15 feet thick at the bottom. So this extra thick line of mortar is essentially the color change that you see on the outside. This is where that occurs on the inside. So
a generation apart, moments in time.
Literally. So everything above, nice smooth cut stone, uniform size, done by the Army Corps of Engineers. Everything below, it's just whatever size stone they had to stick in. It was cut by hand, so it's boogered. And again, the thickness of the walls is, this little 2x2 stone that they found to stick in a hole here.
And you imagine somebody laid this stone and was like, see you next week, Bob, bye, and then gets the word that we're done.
Lo and behold, we're out of money? And it sits incomplete for 25 years. And it's not just an office building that, they stopped building like you see from time to time. This was the nation's tribute to their preeminent founding father that sits incomplete because of lack of money and apathy for the better part of a quarter century.
What would have most likely happened if a 15-foot thick monument was built up 500 and something feet?
In all likelihood, the monument probably would have collapsed under its own weight, probably long before it got to nearing completion.
The Army Corps of Engineers comes in here, they look around, 150 feet high, are they like, oh, we got our work cut out for us?
The walls are too thick, the foundation is insufficient, and oh, by the way, the monument is also leaning quite a bit, so it needs to be made plumb before they can start. They have to find a way to shim it and make it vertical, again with 150.
The Leaning Tower of George.
Leaning Tower of Washington, exactly. Save yourself a trip to Italy. Just come to D.C. and see the Leaning Tower.
And this is where Nick Cage came in and he figured out the code that was in this stone, and that's how the third sequel ends, right?
This would be a perfect place for the next sequel. But if you think about it, Dan Brown's follow-up to the Da Vinci Code, The Lost Symbol, end of that book takes place in the stairwell of the Washington Monument.
That's right, it does. I will never look at this monument the same way again.
896 steps, you made it.
I meant the history, not the cardio, but also that, Mike.
You'll remember that in the morning, I promise you that.
Definitely. All right, that'll do it for the News 4 Rundown on this Wednesday night. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you will join us back here tonight for News 4 at 11. Have a great night, everybody.